Good morning, children. Today our topic of discussion is compound variation. So compound variation. So actually the compound variation, it involves more than one variation in which more than two different types of quantities are used. So this is a type of variation which involves more than one variation. So it consists of more than one variations and which different types of more than two different types of quantities are used. So let's move to exercise 10C. Exercise 10C, question number 1, it is given that 4 men can make 4 cupboards in 4 days. How many cupboards can 14 men make in 14 days? So it is given that 4 men can make 4 cupboards in 4 days. Then how many cupboards can 14 men make in 14 days? So given, so this is the given condition that in 4 days 4 men can make 4 cupboards. So therefore in 1 day 4 men can make, this 4 comes down, so 4 divided by 4, it is 1 cupboard. So therefore in 1 day 4 men can make 1 cupboard. Therefore in 1 day 1 man can make, again this 4 comes down, so it will be 1 divided by 4, that is 1 by 4 cupboards. So therefore in 1 day 14 men can make, since in 1 day 1 man can make 1 by 4 cupboard, therefore 14 men can make 1 by 4 into 14, that is 1 by 4 into 14 cupboards. So therefore in 14 days 14 men can make, so since in 1 day 14 men can make this many cupboards, so therefore in 14 days it can make this into 14, that is 1 by 4 into 14 into 14. So if we cancel out, it becomes 49 cupboards. So the answer is 49 cupboards. So first we take whatever it is given, then we find out the number of cupboards made in 1 day, then in 1 day by 1 man, then we find out the number of cupboards made by 14 men in 1 day, and finally we find out the number of cupboards made by 14 men in 14 days. So then let's move to question number 2. It is given in a hostel it cost rupees 1800 to keep 50 children for 8 weeks. For what length of time did the cost of keeping 90 children amount to rupees 21,060? That means in rupees 21,060, for how many weeks we can keep 90 children in an hostel? So let us first consider the given condition. So given that in 8 weeks lodging cost, lodging means the staying of students, the cost of the hostel, that is in 8 weeks lodging cost of 50 children is rupees 1800, which is already given that it costs rupees 1800 to keep 50 children for 8 weeks. So therefore in 8 weeks lodging cost of 50 children is rupees 1800. So therefore we will find for 1 week, for 1 week the lodging cost of 50 children will be this, it will divide this 1800, that is 1800 divided by 8. So therefore in 1 week lodging cost of 1 children, for 1 children again we need to divide it by 50. So this one we will divide by 50, that is 1800 by 8 into 50. So therefore in 1 week lodging cost of 90 children, so this is the cost in 1 week for 1 children. So therefore for 90 children we need to multiply it by 90, so that is rupees 405. So this is the lodging cost of 90 children for 1 week. So therefore we need to find that in 21,060 rupees for how many weeks 90 children can stay. So therefore in rupees 21,060 90 children can stay for 21,060 whole divided by 405, because this is the cost of staying of 90 children for 1 week. So for 1 week it is 405, that is rupees 405. Therefore the total amount it is given, that is 21,060. So therefore if we divide it by 405 we will get 52. So therefore this is the answer, that is 52 weeks. So in 21,060 90 children can stay for 21,060 whole divided by 405, that is 52 weeks. So now to solve the rest of the questions, so let us learn one formula, so which you can use for other competitive exams also. It is quite useful. So let's learn this formula. With the help of this formula, it will become very easy to solve the other questions. So note, let m be the number of men. Suppose m is the number of men in the given question. M is the number of men, d is the number of days, h is the number of hours, and w is the work done. Then we know that number of men and the work done is directly proportional, or they are in direct variation. So if number of men increases, the amount of work will also increase. If number of men decreases, the amount of work will also decrease. Similarly, number of days is also proportional to work. So if number of days increases, the amount of work done will be more. So similarly, number of hours, if numbers of hours, that means the working hours in a day, if it increases, then the amount of work will also increase. If number of hours in a day, working hours in a day increases, so amount of work done will also be increased. So if we combine these three, we can write like this. Therefore, m into d into h is directly proportional to w. That means m d h. That means number of men into number of days into number of hours is in direct variation with the work done. So therefore, we already know if we replace this proportionality sign with the equal sign, we must give one constant here, kw. So therefore, we can write mdh is equals to kw, where k is a constant. So what will be the value of k then? The value of k will be, if you send w to the other side, it will come down, that is mdh by w. So this is the value of k. So this is, in this manner we can find the value of the constant. So but in the given question, so different conditions will be given. That means, for suppose the number of men will be different, so number of days will be different in the given question. So therefore, for that condition we can use this formula, because we already know since they are in direct variation, so therefore the constant always remains same. If you find the ratio of these two, the constant is always same, as we have already learned in the direct variation. So in the direct variation we have already learned, if x is suppose y in this manner, so we already know if x divides y, so it is constant, the ratio is constant. So here this is the ratio, so therefore this will be constant. So therefore we can write m1 d1 h1 by w1 is equals to m2 d2 h2 by w2. So this is the formula. This is a very important formula and very easy one so to remember. So you must remember this to solve the rest of the questions. So now let's see question number 3. So question number 3, it is given that in how many days of working 8 hours each day can 12 men do the same work as 10 men working 9 hours a day do in 16 days. So it is asked in the question. So in how many days? So in how many days 12 men, if they work 8 hours a day, can finish a job, that is the same job which is finished by 10 men working 9 hours a day in 16 days. Once again I repeat. So it is asked in the question that in how many days 12 men working 8 hours a day can finish a job, that job which can be done by 10 men in 16 days working 9 hours a day. Okay, so that means if we use this formula, we can take, for the first condition it is given that m1 is equals to 12, because it is already given. Suppose the given conditions, what is given there, that this m1 is 12, because it is asked in the question in how many days these 12 men can do a job working 8 hours a day. So therefore m1 we take 12. So number of days we need to find, so therefore we have taken as d, and number of hours is 8, because 8 hours a day. Again the same work which is done by 10 men, so therefore we have taken m2, the value of m2 is 10. 10 men 9 hours a day, they work 9 hours a day, so therefore h2 I have taken 9, and in 16 days, so number of days is 16, so therefore d2 is equals to 16. So this is actually given in the second condition, that m2 is given 10. So m2, this is the value of m2, and this is the value of d2, and this is the value of h. So h means hours, m means men, and d for day, as we already know. Now according to the formula we can write like this: m1 d1 h1 by w1 is equals to m2 d2 h2 by w2. Now you just substitute the value. Here we can see that the work is not given. This w1 and w2 is given in the formula, it is not given. So those parameters which are not given we can take as 1. So once again I repeat, so those parameters which are not given we can take as 1. So therefore here W is not given, so therefore we take W1 and W2 as 1. So now we already know how to find the value of D. So just send this 12 and 8 to the other side. If you send 12 and 8 to the other side, it becomes like this. So D is equal to 10 into 16 into 9. So D is equal to 10 into 16 into 9. So this 12 into 8 comes down. So it becomes 12 into 8. So after cancelling, we'll get 15. So that means D. So D is the number of days. So therefore number of days is equal to 15. So 15 days. So this is the answer. Again, so let's move to the question number 4. Question number 4, it is given if 10 men working 7 hours a day dig a trench 147 meter long, how many men working 8 hours a day will dig a trench 168 meter long? Now you see number of men, if they work, if 10 men are there, so 10 men they work 7 hours a day. In a day they work for 7 hours. So 10 men, if they work for 7 hours in a day, they can dig a trench. So the length of the trench will be 147 meter. So this is the length of a trench. Similarly, it is asked in the question, so how many men, that means we need to find a number of men working 8 hours a day can dig a trench of 168 meter. Here we can see the number of days is not given, the number of men is given. M1 is in the first condition, it is given that if 10 men, so therefore we have taken M1 as 10. Then number of hours, that is H1 is equal to 7, and 147 is, it is the length of the trench, that means this is the work that they have done. So therefore in place of W1 we will put 147. So this is the value of work they have done. So this is not day, so this is not the number of day, this is not the value of D, so this is the value of W, because this is the work that they have done. So therefore we have written W1 is equal to 147. Similarly, for the second one, M2 we need to find for how many men, so therefore M2 we have taken as M. So M2 we need to find, so therefore we have taken as M. So working 8 hours a day, so that means H2 is equal to 8, and the work done is, so dig a trench 168 meter long, that means this is the value of W2. So W2 is 168, so this is the work done. So now let us use this formula, that is M1 D1 H1 by W1 is equal to M2 D2 H2 by W2. Let's substitute the values. So we need to find this value of M. So to find this value of M, we need to send this 1 into 8 to the other side, it will come down, that is 1 into 8 is 8. So this, once again I repeat, so since here the value of D is not given, since the value of D is not given, and as I have already mentioned, the parameter which is not given we take as 1, so therefore the value of D we take as 1. So in place of D we put as 1. So therefore this 8 comes to the other side, and this 168 also we send to the other side. So it will cross multiply, this 168 will go up and this 8 will come down, so it will be in this manner. So after cancelling we will get the value of M as 10. So since we know M is the number of men, so therefore the number of men is 10. So it is very easy to find the answer using this formula. So using this formula you can find 5 and 6 by yourself. So that's all for today. So with this we have already finished this chapter. So in the next class we'll continue with a new chapter, and thank you.